Hello, my friends. Welcome to Mr. K's Storybook Station podcast. Today's story is called Delightful Secrets of the Nutcracker. Come aboard! Oh, would you like to hear a story from me? A tale of adventure or mystery? With animals, castles, so much to see. Jump aboard and read with me. Mr. K's Storybook Station. All you need's imagination. Mr. K's Storybook Station will take you to places you've never been. Stories are a way to learn new things. Stories are fun for you and me. We can make friends and try on dreams. With every new page we turn to read. Mr. K's Storybook Station. All you need's imagination. Mr. K's Storybook Station will take you to places you've never been. Would you like to hear a story from me? A tale of adventure or mystery? With animals, castles, so much to see. Jump aboard and read with me. All aboard and read with me. All aboard! Welcome to Mr. K's Storybook Station. I'm your friend, Mr. K. The author of our story today is Julian Adair. An author is the person who writes the story. Come on and use your imaginations as we take the train to Storyland. It was Christmas Eve, 1908, and the Stahlbaum family was preparing for the holiday. Family and friends were joining them to celebrate the next day.
Marie, hand me another ornament.
This one will look nice,
Marie replied, selecting a red ornament from the basket she was helping her mother sort. The fireplace crackled and popped as Opa read, looking up from his book, as the family trimmed the tree and Oma dusted busily about the parlor. Elise, mother of the Stahlbaum clan, took great pleasure in making the Christmas holiday look like a Currier and Ives painting. As she sweetly hummed a carol, she said,
I don't see the rest of the decorations. Might they still be in the attic?
Fritz, Marie's younger brother, landed his toy airplane in a basket and pulled out a small box.
What's this, Mother?
Marie snatched the treasure from her brother.
Oma, what's this?
It is a music box. It belonged to your great-great-grandmother. In fact, your godfather Drosselmeier made it, and this carousel was his masterpiece.
Their grandpa Opa chimed in.
Wind it up. See if it still plays.
As a tune played from the carousel, Marie and Fritz danced about.
Goodness gracious, no more dancing with carousels. We have decorating to do.
Elise interrupted as Marie and Fritz jumped to attention.
I saw another basket of decorations in the attic.
Marie, go get the basket. Fritz, put your toys away. We will have guests tomorrow.
Yes, Mother.
Elise, it is lovely. Are you certain you want more ornaments?
Johannes, you should know better than to stand between Elise and her holiday decorating.
Opa reminded him, holding the music box up to look at it further.
Of course I want everything, but I don't know how it will be finished by tomorrow.
Why don't we have the guests decorate the tree for us?
Fritz, hush and take your toys and put them away.
Yes, Father.
Oma retrieved the music box and nestled it into the tree.
There is a great deal to do. We may be up all night.
Things always have a way of getting done. I'm sure we will be finished soon.
There will be a house full of people to celebrate in the morning, all expecting the traditional Stahlbaum family Christmas, and we are far from ready.
Christmas will come whether we are ready or not, and it will be a wonderful holiday, my dear.
Opa!
Marie squealed as she ran into the parlor.
Marie, where are the things you were going to fetch?
But I found this book.
Marie said, offering up a beautiful blue book, trimmed in gold and covered in dust.
What is it? What did you find? And where are those decorations?
That's your great-great-grandmother's journal.
Fritz jumped up and down, trying to get a good look.
I want to see too.
Opa scooped up the book from Marie.
Let's take a look. Come sit.
Marie looked at the treasure in Opa's hands as he slowly opened the cover.
Who is this?
That is your great-great-grandmother, Clara Stahlbaum. She was something, so full of life. Your mother reminds me a lot of her.
I will get the rest of the decorations. Fritz, come help me.
Yes, Father.
Tell me more about my great-great-grandmother, Opa.
She had a marvelous imagination. I remember her as a wonderful storyteller. All of us grandchildren would gather by her chair in the parlor as she told of great adventures.
Tell me a story she told you, Opa.
It is very late, and tomorrow is Christmas Day. Perhaps just a short story. Let me think. Oh yes, the hard nut was one of her favorites. She told this story every Christmas Eve.
Opa gathered the story from his memories and he began.
Once upon a time, there lived King Wilhelm and Queen Aurora, who had the most beautiful baby daughter in the world. Her name was Princess Pearl. The king and queen were kind and wise rulers of their land, but they had one big problem. Their castle had many rats. Finally, one day they called in the royal watchmaker, Herr Drosselmeier. He built clever traps and captured all the rats except for two, the Rat Queen and her son, the King of Rats. The Rat Queen was so furious over the capture of her friends that she cast a spell on young Princess Pearl. Instantly, Pearl changed into a doll. Her head grew big and heavy, her eyes became wide and staring, and her mouth stretched from ear to ear. The spell was mean, and the whole kingdom was sad. Drosselmeier was clever, though, and he knew how to break the spell. First, he had to find the rare Crackatuck nut. Second, the Crackatuck nut had to be cracked between the teeth of an honorable young man. And last, after handing the nut to the afflicted, the young man must take 7 steps backwards without falling. If these 3 tasks were completed, the spell would be broken. No one he knew had ever even seen a Crackatuck nut, but Drosselmeier set out to find one. Year upon year, mile upon mile, Drosselmeier searched the world over until one day, in a quiet corner in an ancient forest, he found the Crackatuck nut. Drosselmeier knew his young nephew Frederick was the right person for this task. Young Frederick agreed. He cracked the nut between his teeth and handed the sweet kernel to poor Princess Pearl to break the spell. In an instant, she became a beautiful girl with piercing blue eyes, porcelain skin, and a beaming smile. But one task remained. At his uncle's direction, Frederick carefully counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps backwards. But as he took the 7th step, his foot came down on a black rat. It was the Rat Queen herself, and she squealed as young Frederick stumbled and fell. In a flash, Frederick became just as ugly as Princess Pearl had been. His size was that of a doll with a giant head, wide staring eyes, and a gaping mouth. The spell now rested on Frederick. "How dreadful!" Princess Pearl shrieked at the sight of young Frederick. "Take him away! I cannot look at him." Despite all they had done for the royal family, Drosselmeier and Frederick left the court in disgrace. In time, the Rat Queen died, but even that did not lift the curse. Drosselmeier knew that in order to break the spell, the Rat King must also die and Frederick must find love in his current looking form. And do you want to know what happened next?
Elise, Fritz, and Johannes paraded into the parlor, arms loaded with decoration.
We could use a little help here, you two.
I don't think you're gonna get Marie away from one of Opa's stories.
The magic is just beginning.
Many years later, Drosselmeier gave Clara a Nutcracker doll for Christmas. After the Christmas festivities, when everyone was asleep, Clara snuck downstairs to get her beloved Nutcracker doll. When Clara entered the parlor, an army of rats raced across the floor.
Opa acted out his story as he continued.
Out from behind the Christmas tree, the largest rat Clara could ever imagine appeared. The Rat King.
Opa gestured to Johannes and Fritz, inviting them to join him in the story.
Just as Clara was about to scream, her Nutcracker doll sprang forth to fight the Rat King and his army.
Johannes leaped to fight with the candy cane as a sword. Fritz grabbed a candy cane and began battling his father with great swordsmanship.
Toy soldiers joined the battle, and soon all were defeated except the Rat King himself.
Fritz fell to the ground in dramatic defeat. Marie cheered with glee, sitting on the edge of her seat.
What happened next, Opa?
After a fierce battle, the Rat King knocked the Nutcracker to the ground and raised his sword high.
Johannes fell to the floor as Opa held the candy cane sword above his head. Opa looked to Marie to play the hero. As he continued,
Clara took off her shoe and flung it at the Rat King. Ouch!
Opa exclaimed as Marie giggled.
The Rat King was distracted long enough for the Nutcracker to jump up, take his sword, and with one mighty blow, defeat the Rat King.
Opa tumbled over the settee and onto the floor with dramatic flair.
The Nutcracker was now to be forever known as the Nutcracker Prince.
Johannes, on bended knee, kissed Marie's hand as she curtsied.
The Nutcracker Prince thanked Clara for saving his life and invited her to his palace in the magical land of sweets.
Tell me more.
Clearing her throat and giving a look that only mothers can give, Elise said,
Story time is over. Marie, it is time for bed. You will have to have your own dreams about the land of sweets.
Thank you for the wonderful story, Opa.
It is late, but let us sing a bit before we retire. It wouldn't be Christmas Eve if we didn't sing Silent Night.
Elise lit the candles. The family gathered around the beautiful tree that graced the parlor on that cold and snowy Christmas Eve, and music filled the air as they sang by candlelight.
Off to bed. Tomorrow will be full of celebration. Off to sleep now, Marie.
Opa bent to his knee and gave the treasured book to Marie.
Good night and sweet dreams.
Marie cannot sleep. She was curious about the journal, so she snuck up to the attic to study more and soon fell asleep. Marie was scared awake by sounds coming from a darkened corner of the attic. Rats scurried about as she noticed a large figure coming out of the shadows. Marie snuck behind the trunk as a massive rat appeared. It was indeed the Rat King himself. Just as Marie was about to scream in terror, she heard marching behind her. Turning quickly, she found herself face to face with the Nutcracker Prince and his army. The enemies faced each other and a fierce battle began. During the fight, the Rat King, known for his trickery, chased Marie across the attic. In pursuit to save Marie, the Nutcracker Prince tripped over the Rat King's tail and stumbled to the floor, losing his sword. The Rat King held his sword high above the Nutcracker Prince, ready to strike. Marie gathered her courage and bravely attacked the Rat King using her slipper. Seeing that the Rat King was distracted, the Nutcracker Prince jumped to his feet, took his sword, and with one mighty blow, defeated the giant rodent. The Rat King was finally dead, the spell was lifted, and the Nutcracker Prince became human again. The prince thanked Marie for saving his life and invited her to his palace in the land of sweets. Magically, the couple entered a snow-covered glen and a sparkling forest enchanted with dancing icicles. The majestic Snow Queen appeared and ushered them to a sleigh pulled by dancing carousel horses. They journeyed to the land of sweets. Everyone was excited upon seeing the sight of the Nutcracker Prince.
My kingdom wishes to entertain you and give you gifts of thanks for rescuing me. First, I would like to present you with a sampling of Spanish mocha.
Dancers with roses in their hair appeared before them, moving in a bold flamenco rhythm with beautiful black lace fans and rippling skirts. The aroma of freshly brewed Arabian coffee and Chinese tea filled the air. Dancers adorned in brightly colored silks paraded past the couple, displaying feats of balance and agility. The prince motioned for delicacies to be presented to Marie. There was Russian bread, marzipan, and ribbon candies filled the silver platter, which reminded Marie of the letter-shaped cookies and candies that were always appearing during the holidays at home. Russian dancers spun in colorful skirts, peppermint dancers twirled satin ribbons, and marzipan dancers danced on point. Mistletoe, a sprightly fairy in sparkling green, sprinkled her magic over Marie and the prince as they passed by. The festivities came to a close as the magnificent Sugar Plum Fairy and her partner performed a stunning dance to thank Marie for helping to save the prince. The excitement was overwhelming, and as the prince escorted her home, Marie drifted off, gently resting her head upon his shoulder. Scared awake by the loud noise of the attic hatch opening, Marie sat up and saw her mother standing over her.
I can't believe you slept in this drafty attic all night, you silly child.
Marie jumped to her feet, ready to tell her mother of her adventures.
I have so much to tell you.
It is Christmas Day, and Godfather Drosselmeier is arriving soon.
But I must tell you of my adventure.
I am sure you had the most delightful dream. Now go and prepare for our celebration.
Marie hurried downstairs. The journal remained opened on the attic floor. Elise picked it up, gently closed the cover, and nestled it back into the trunk. In the parlor, the Christmas tree stood in all of its glory. Silvery tinsel hung like icicles, and burgundy poinsettias bloomed from each bough. Fumbling with the boxes under the tree, Opa shook each one, trying to determine what was inside, while Johannes sat in the large Victorian chair near the grand fireplace. Carrying a basket of gifts to place beneath the tree, Oma caught Opa shaking a box, and she said,
Opa, leave the gifts alone. You are as bad as the children. Don't you want to be surprised?
Oma, the best surprise was when you said yes to marrying me.
Opa said as he quickly took Oma in his arms, twirling her about the parlor. As she caught her breath, Oma said,
You make it hard for me to be cross with you.
She kissed him on the cheek and went about her next task in the kitchen as Opa continued looking through gifts, hoping to find one that was labeled for him.
You better not let her catch you in the gifts again.
Hey, I was just straightening them.
Marie slept in the attic with the journal last night.
Oh, I hope she didn't catch a cold. She has a lively imagination, much like her great-great-grandmother.
And her Opa.
Sleigh bells were heard in the distance, and soon there was a knock at the door.
Greetings, Herr Drosselmeier,
Johannes said as he opened the door.
A very Merry Christmas to you, Herr Stromberg. Where have you been since we saw you last? I have been traveling and have seen a great deal of the world, but nothing compares to a traditional Stromberg Christmas. Marie will be eager to see you and hear all about your travels. She claims to have had some adventures herself. She fell asleep in the attic last night after an evening of exciting stories from Opa. Herr Stromberg, as I recall, you have an imagination like that of your grandmother's.
Marie found Clara's journal and it reminded me of the stories that she told us. Last night, I began telling the story of the hard nut.
That story goes back a long time. I wonder if I can remember how the story ends.
Marie ran into the parlor, hugging Drosselmeier as he swung her around.
Godfather, Merry Christmas!
Soon the Stahlbaum home was full of family and guests, busy with holiday music, dancing, and merriment.
Children, gather around. I have something special for you to see.
3 beautiful life-size dolls were carried into the parlor. Drosselmeier reached into his cape and pulled out a large gold key. He wound each of the dolls up and they began to dance. The children couldn't believe their eyes. The parlor erupted into applause as the dolls finished their performances.
Godfather, that was wonderful.
Let's do the boxing dance.
Elise gathered the children and gestured to Johannes to wind up the Victrola. All the children huddled around her and were given a gift box as they began dancing. At the end of the dance, the children opened their packages and squealed with delight. Ribbon candy, marzipan, Russian bread, and holiday delicacies were welcome surprises. The parlor was a flurry of boxes and bows as the children showed each other their gifts. Drosselmeier tapped Marie on her shoulder as he said,
I have something for you.
For me?
Marie was surprised at the thought of another gift. The package was covered in red velvet. Marie smoothed the sides and admired the beautiful bow. She opened the lid to reveal a beautiful Nutcracker doll.
Merry Christmas, Marie.
Gently lifting the Nutcracker, she said,
If you were under a spell, I'd never behave like that ungrateful Princess Pearl. I love you no matter what.
In a flash, a Nutcracker doll vanished into the thin air. There, before her, was a handsome young man. Marie could barely believe her eyes. Drosselmeier introduced them.
Marie, this is my nephew, Frederick.
Greetings, Frederick, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you for rescuing me. I'm truly grateful. Merry Christmas. Would you care to dance?
I would love to.
Drosselmeier wound up the Victrola once more. Frederick bowed and Marie curtsied as they danced a beautiful dance. The Rat Queen's spell was finally broken and true love had came. Many years on, Christmas has passed and the Stahlbaum family began planning another kind of celebration, the wedding of Frederick and Marie. Years later, they gave birth to a daughter who had piercing blue eyes, porcelain skin, and a beaming smile. They named her Clara. The end. That was a wonderful story. I hope you had fun. Well, we're back at the station, but I hope you'll join me again next time for more stories and imagination. It's time to say goodbye. Now it's time to say farewell to you, my friend. We've learned new things, had many songs to sing, now our fun must end. I hope to see you all real soon. We've got so much more that we can do. See you later, alligator, here at the clubhouse. A big goodbye from me, Mr. K. See you soon.